Hello, Indraneel.
Hi.
This video that I wanted to record today was looking at the times that we are facing right now. Everybody is talking about it, everybody has something to say about what's wrong, what's right, what's happening, what's not happening. We keep receiving WhatsApp. So, I wanted to hear from you as a transformational coach, as a therapist. Where do you see this space taking us? This environment of, I don't know, fear taking us. What is the impact that it is happening on people's lives? What is the response and what can be done to manage the situation?
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak about something which perhaps is going to go down in history as one of the most pivotal periods of our lives and the generations to follow. In my entire lifetime of 6 decades, I have not perceived a crisis as complex. I'm not talking of large only, but complex as this, because it's not just a medical or a health crisis. I think largely it's an economic crisis, a social crisis, and most importantly, I think it's a human crisis. So, to respond to your question, I think a couple of weeks back, since then, I've been talking to people, studying them, observing them. As a coach, it's my nature to look at people and their lives and how they cope with situations around them. The first thing that I would like to make as a statement, as a disclaimer, that whatever I'm going to say over here may not be liked by many, because there are many who are doing what I'm going to talk about. However, it is the truth, whether you like it or not, and therefore it will be upheld by some of the truth seekers. So, the fact of life is that we know about these 5 stages that man goes through when there is an unprecedented change that happens in life, right? It
Yes.
starts from denial and then goes to acceptance. So, right now, the way I see it is people are in a stage of denial. What I see people doing most is, I am not saying celebrating is wrong, but then I am seeing them going out for picnic. I am seeing them playing cricket in the field outside my home. I'm seeing them calling parties and getting into parties. I'm seeing them going out on dates and outings. I'm seeing them doing a lot of things other than staying at home and still celebrating, like we are doing at this point in time. So I was looking at it, and I actually spoke to some of them. A few of them said that we don't kind of endorse this thing of staying at home or whatever. Uh, we're not scared of it, and whatever is to happen will happen. That brave front these people are putting forward, and I'm ready for it. Uh, it was very, very sad to note that in the entire expression, what came out is, it's all about me. I didn't hear the note of responsibility as the citizen of this country or perhaps this world, where they would realize that if I get infected today, I become a part of this chain and I strengthen the chain of COVID 19. So, coming back to what I was saying, there's deep denial. And deep denial of what? Deep denial of the fear that this is also going to affect me. Now, what is my concern is not the virus. What is my concern is this denied fear, this repressed fear, which is now taking a collective proportion. You see, you know that I'm an empath.
Hmm.
I can pick up signals, I can pick up uh, many things from my surrounding. And not just pick up, but I get affected by it. So today, this morning, I woke up feeling not so good. And true to my nature, I sat down to reflect on where did it come from, how did it happen, and very soon I was connected to the collective denied, suppressed, repressed, and dissipated fear that was there around me. I stay in a community. Now, there are no signs of people, kind of being cautious about what, I mean, yes, there is, I would say, the bare minimum caution that is being exercised, but nobody is showing in terms of there is fear, there is care. I'm not saying that people must be feared or afraid or scared. What I'm saying is that if I'm afraid, can I state that I'm afraid? If I'm scared, can I state that I'm scared? Because if that is not done, that becomes a collective infection in itself. And this collective infection can create a collective impact on the collective immune system. Do I
Hmm.
make sense?
Yes, right.
So that is what my concern is. I'm not bothered about those people who are gallivanting around and doing whatever they want just to defy and deny what is there. I'm more bothered about what could be the possible impact of this, not only on you and me, but on the populace.
Hmm. So, when you say you see that, what is the possible way to deal with this situation? What is your recommendation to people? While you say that, yeah, defying or suppressing fear is not the way out, and you also said that just being fearful is also not a great idea. So, what is it that one can do or not do or be?
So, in my own small way, at an individual or a small group level, I'm making people aware at the cost of being not liked by them or hated by them that they're not doing what they must be doing. They're not acknowledging, to say the least, they must acknowledge that they are uncomfortable about it. Let's not talk about fear. For example, I am uncomfortable about it.
Mm-hmm.
My people, my children, my family is uncomfortable about it. So, can I accept that? So, that's the first thing. Second is, uh, I heard Modi ji yesterday. I think it was a brilliant call to the nation to do certain things and try and abort this crisis, or perhaps uh, mitigate this crisis. But maybe coming from an authority of that size and that power could help to tell people that there is no harm in accepting that I'm uncomfortable. I'm unsure about my future. I don't know what's going to happen. And when I say future, there is one more fear. I didn't talk about it. It's not just a health crisis. Actually, it is not a health crisis. It's by and large an economical crisis looming large. It's by and large a social crisis looming large. Now, people are reading. People are going and reading social media news and news feeds and tweets. It's not that they don't know. But it's always the psychology that when something has to go wrong, it will go wrong with my neighbor, But when the lottery has to strike, it will strike me. So people are living in this, uh, you know, uh, confusion. And somewhere, from some level, from some authority, this has to come down and knock at the door of their consciousness. And the third and the last thing that I think, and that's what most probably we'll have to do, is to wait for them to reach level 5. Level 5 is the level of acceptance. Level 1 is the level of denial. They are in the level of denial, and by the time they reach the level of acceptance, it might be a little too late. So that's what, again, is my concern. Can someone, something, or can we, few of us, come together to bring them to acceptance as soon as possible?
I understand and I agree with what you're saying. In fact, let me just add, this evening, one of our neighbors just came and she said that in our house it is the same thing. The neighbors' kids come and play all day with our children. Our children go out to neighbors' places. They are not leaving the community, etc., etc., etc. They're having a good time. So my initial reaction is not to say anything, because I mean their children is none of my business, right? But then I just thought that this is not a vacation. I also have two kids who are home from school and they are not going out. They have accepted that going out and mingling with people is risky. There's no danger, but it is risky. So they have accepted because we as parents shared it with them that you're home not for vacation, you're home because the situation is such that if you go out it may be not good for you, right? I really wish if the parents who are responsible and are doing this talk about it to their neighbors that you are adults, you need to tell children that this is not okay, which I think I did today. I don't know how the person felt about it, but I think the person did acknowledge, because in the end, every parent wants the well-being of their children, want the well-being of their children. So I think that's another small thing, as you said, we in a small way can start
Yeah, sure.
making people aware.
I think community awareness and community interactions at this point in time, even Modi ji said that call up 10 people in a day. And I've been, maybe not 10, but I've been calling a lot of people. I think it makes a sense to call people and talk to them. But I think I'll add one bit: call people, talk to them, and don't fear being unpopular with them. Speak the truth with them. Tell them, like Pooja said, that you need to also educate people in your family and people around you that this is not vacation time, that this is not work from home in pajamas, that this is not time for you to order food from Zomato and have whatever you wanted to have, which you did not have all these years. This is time for you to reflect. This is time for you to introspect. This is time for you to go deep down. I think there is an intense and excellent opportunity for us to get to know ourselves at this point in time. In all adversity, there's always an opportunity. Here is an opportunity to go inside instead of go outside. And trust me, going inside is so much more joyful than going outside. So there's so many things that we can do. And talking to people, yes, it might be microcosmic, but the impact can be macrocosmic.
True. Also, you mentioned a little while ago that this is not so much of health risk or a health issue. It is more an economic situation that we are facing. It might lead to I don't know what, because most businesses are shut down across the world. Things nobody knows what will happen when. So I also think this is the time for us who are getting impacted people, you know, uh, to think what to do in life, because it's not going to be easy to get out of this situation.
Yeah, so I think any person with any common sense can think about what is happening to the aviation industry, to the hospitality industry, and to many other industries. I don't want to name it. What is happening to small, medium, and small businesses? What is happening to those who are self employed? What is happening to startups, the much celebrated startups? And what is happening to the daily wages? So, uh, while we are battling with the virus at this point in time, I think time has come to also start thinking about battling with the recession, and the early signs are already showing. I'm not an economist, so I can't talk about it, but they are showing already. In fact, a couple of my clients, I've been talking to them, and they clearly said that we're looking at rationalizing much of what we wanted to do in the new fiscal year, and we may have to curb most of it. So, people who are service providers also will therefore get impacted. Now, question is, does it bother me? Yes, it bothers me. Does it bother you? Yes, it bothers you. Does it bother many people or not around me? I don't know. Do they realize that being stuck in a rut, they will once again be taken for surprise to find that they have lost their jobs, for example, or to find, for example, that their role has been reduced to something which is minimal. And from being a permanent employee, they might be reduced to a contractual employee. Businesses might suddenly find that their online counterparts are being more preferred than on ground counterparts. Now, this suddenness that I'm talking about is not warranted. What I'm saying is it is not written in stone that I shall earn my livelihood only this way. There are many ways by which I can earn my livelihood. And to find out what are the different ways by which I can earn livelihood, I don't need to look outside. I do need to look inside and take an inventory of what are those valuables that I carry inside me which can generate economic value. This is very simple. And if it is not simple for you, it is simple for me. Please come to me, I'll help you out with it. But I think this is the time to take stock of inventory of valuables that I am carrying, which tomorrow will be very much required. For example, a person who is into food business. Now, food will never go out of vogue tomorrow. Somebody who's into education business. Education will never go out of vogue tomorrow. Health will not go out of vogue. Somebody who's a healer, who's a therapist, who's a practitioner, they will not ever go out of vogue tomorrow. Now, the question is, it is quite possible that a stockbroker may have some of these talents. It needs a little time and little introspection and little guidance from expert professionals for one to figure out what are those dormant, hidden, and unexploited talents for one to leverage and see what would be my means of livelihood tomorrow. And one can start working now while one is idling instead of playing cricket and partying around and faffing around and doing all sorts of merrymaking. One can spend a little time in making plan B for one's own self, because all said and done, there are very few people who are sponsored. Most people have to earn their own bread, unless you're, of course, planning to live on others.
Great. What an insight. So, just to summarize, I think two things come out very strongly. The first one is, I think the first step is to acknowledge that there is a challenge. Once the moment I acknowledge and accept that this is a situation, I will have the courage and the ability to deal with it. That's one thing I get out of it. The second thing that I get out of it is that this time that is available is an opportunity to look at all the talents, all the valuables, as you call them, that I carry in me. If I need help, seek help and find out what all can I do to, you know, take care of myself, to contribute to my economic well-being and to the world's economic well-being. So thank you very much, Indranil,
Thank you,
for
Pooja. Thank you so much for facilitating this conversation. I'm really happy that I've been able to put it across and hope it helps.
great. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night.